Okay, so this is my video for my children on how to do chorizo. And so I'm starting with the peppers right now. You want to get cascabel. Get a pound of that, okay? You also want to get pasilla. You want a pound of that. You know, they're dry peppers. Sometimes, like these ones right here, I'm having a hard time with them. They should be a little more pliable than they are, but these are almost like, you can hear them cracking right here. But I'm smelling them, and they smell okay, and they'll do. The problem is going to be on these pasillas is trying to, you want to try to get the seeds out before you start to put it in the hot water here. So just do the best you can. If you have a Vitamix and you miss some seeds, it'll just chew those away. But just do the best that you can on this. You see the seeds coming out? They're in pieces. And then just chunk it in a bowl, and I'll show you what to do later with that. The cascabel is a little easier to get the seeds out of. Make sure you don't get something that says, I bought a package that said cascabel guajijo. It's not the same thing. So don't be fooled. They look alike. One's more of a earthy flavor. Cascabel's a little more of a fruity flavor. So anyway, so like with the cascabel, just cut the stem off. You can see the seeds on there. And then wear gloves, because sometimes they can get hot and they can discolor, but you can see the seeds. What you're trying to do to make it easier for you is to try to get the seeds out of it. When I first started making these, it used to be you would cook the whole pepper and then try to get seeds out. And you would lose a lot of the skin when you did that. So it's a lot easier if you just take the time, like on day one, just to go through these peppers and take as much seeds as you can. And then I'll show you what to do after that. So anyway, 1 pound of cascabel, dry cascabel, 1 pound of pasilla. Anyway, I had a hard time with these pasilla because there's like very harder than usual, but they'll still do. They're fine. Just make sure they don't have any mold. And what you try to do, like on the, like I said, the cascabels are a lot easier, dude. You'll see inside, and there's like sometimes you'll see a little vein in there. You just kind of pull that out. So and they smell so good. But this really is the hard part of doing everything. That's why you should do this like in 2 steps. You can do all of the pepper preparations one day if you want, or you can do like what I'm doing today, and that's just getting the seeds out of these and putting them in a big old bowl here, and where I'm going to put it in some simmering water for a little bit so they can soften up. And then I plan on putting it on the Vitamix, so it's all mixed in. So while I'm doing these peppers, I'll talk to you just a little bit more. When my mother used to do this, she'd actually get her own meat and grind it up. It's a lot more work. I just go to the butcher's and I just ask them how much I need, and I tell them to ground it together, mix it all together, the pork and the beef chuck, and to ground it chorizo coarseness, because you don't want it too fine, but you don't want it too thick either. When my mother used to do this, she used to also case hers. I tried doing that with your dad at first, and he was very helpful, and it was really fun in one sense. Cool seeing these little links and casings and stuff. But it was just really hard to do because you'd get going on the mixer doing the casing thing, and it would break on you, and you would have to stop, and then you'd have to rethread. My mother used to like to make chorizo during the cold weather because she would put it outside, for an hour in the cold weather. She'd prick it with little needles here to sort of air out a little bit, but not too much because then you lose a lot of juice. I try to make things a lot easier so I can make chorizo more often. If you try to make something that's so hard and so difficult and so laborious, you're less likely to want to make it. This is why I do a whole lot at one time too. Anyway, I hope when this is all said and done, So you're able to pass this on to your children. And okay, so that took me about 45 minutes to do that. It's tedious. Once you get that done, things are a lot easier, except when you have to pack it. But anyway, you can see, make sure you have something, a pan here, because you get seeds everywhere. So if you have dogs or anything, make sure they're not underneath you trying to eat the seeds. And here's my bowl. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's the bowl of peppers that have just been de-seeded. Like I said, I use scissors, use glove, cut around the stem, cut along the line, and just try to peel the seeds out. Okay, so what I've done now is I've taken all these peppers and I put it in a pretty big pot here. And I filled it with water, and then I'm gonna turn it on high until it starts to simmer. I don't wanna boil these, I just want to get the water to simmer, and then sort of let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then maybe 10. I'll let you know how much I do it in a minute. And then just turn it off and let it sit. Now, I will let you know that I'm always afraid I don't have enough of the good pepper sauce, so I'll probably end up making more than I actually need, but that's okay. It's better to have more than less. So I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so this is kind of how you want it. You want to get it to where it's simmering but not boiling. Put it on low heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. I know I said 5, but you know, sometimes it isn't until you do it till you really know what you're doing. So simmer for about 15 minutes and then just turn the heat off and let it sit for at least an hour to 2 hours so it can cool down before you put it into the blender. All right. Okay, so now I have my peppers cooked. So I've got a Vitamix here. If you don't have a Vitamix, hopefully it's a good mixer that'll really mesh through this. So I'm gonna take the peppers, and hopefully if you didn't get all the seeds out of there by doing this, the seeds will fall down to the bottom. And then you wanna fill the whole thing up because there's a lot of peppers. Now back in the day, my mother used to take the Costco bells and scrape the meat off of there. She wanted some of the skin to have some bulk. And now I'm gonna take a little bit of juice. So it won't just, your mixture will turn just a little bit, not a whole lot. Just a little bit. And then I'm putting it here. And turn this on. I'm gonna need a spatula here. Hold on. I don't want to add any more water because I don't want it to whatever. I'm just gonna have to play with this, going back and forth in batches. You don't want it too watery when you end up mixing it with the meat. This needs a little bit more help, so just a little bit more juice, hopefully. Here we go. This whole thing's not even moving. All right, so that's good. I'm doing a video so you can see what I'm talking about. So mix it up a little bit. Here we go. All right, let's take a look. Yeah. What you want is sort of a puree. I don't know if you can see this or not. Sort of pure. It's a pureed. You don't want to see any skin. Not too bad. Okay. And you're going to end up doing this a little bit in batches. I'm just batches. So I said batches. Okay, hold on. Put a little more liquid. All right, over time. Okay, well, so we're going to do that in batches, and I'll show you how it ends up. Okay, so just a little hint, suggestion here. When you're doing this, it'll sound like your blender's gonna break. So just stop it if it's not moving. Take your spatula and stir it around a little bit. Do it again. Stir it around. Get some of those peppers that are on top, get down on the bottom. But anyway, like I said, you're gonna have a lot. I don't remember on the top of my head how many cups of this I use, but I always have leftovers. So if you do, you can freeze it, or you know, if there's some other kind of dish you think you might want to use this in, there's plenty of dishes out there you can do that too. But you see right here, whoops, almost spilled that one over. Anyway, this is what I call the gold, the chorizo gold. I think it's white tastes as good as it does. You don't want to be stingy. I'm going to show my mom's video at the very end, a little bit of it. She doesn't use as much as I do, but like I said, I tweaked it, modified it a little bit, and it just tastes really good here. And hopefully she'll be proud of me. All right, I will get back with you. Okay, I've already done my sauce, the pepper sauce here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy the meat tomorrow, but I can go ahead and prep this today. Usually I do like a 3-day process. Yesterday was taking the seeds out. Today was cooking these peppers and getting the spices all together in a bowl. So when I get the meat, I can just all mix. One of the spices is oregano. It's very hard to find ground Mexican oregano. You can find Greek ground oregano, but you need to get Mexican. And usually it comes like this. So when you open the package, I like to put it in here because I got to ground it up. Or if you have one of those little coffee grinders, you can try to use that too. But when you're looking at this, if you see any big stems in here, this is what my mother used to do. She used to lay it all out and just pull out the little stems in there. But then go ahead and just pull the little stems out if you see it, because you want mostly leaves. Sometimes you'll see it in here. Anyway, just take your molcajete and just start grounding it up. Like I said, if you have a coffee grinder, those can work too. So, okay, I already grounded up my oregano, and so in my bowl, it calls for 5 teaspoons oregano. So 1. Let me see here. So 2. Look for those little stems in case you didn't ground it up all the way. 3, and don't lose your count. I got 2 more to go here. 4. Some stems there. And 5. Okay. So you can see a little bit of the stems in there, but anyway, maybe I'll put in the coffee grinder. Let's see. Okay. All right. Anyway, ground it up as much as you can. All right, so we're gonna put some salt. I'm gonna put 8 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to put some comino, 5 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's try to buy these fresh, even if you have some in the pantry. Your garlic, your comino, and your oregano. All right, so that's 5 comino. We got 5 teaspoons of oregano. We put the salt. Now we put garlic powder, which I just bought here. This is 3½. Now, when my mother was making this, when I was watching the video, because she was I had to force her to get a teaspoon. She was just throwing stuff in. And then she would put them in, and then she thought she was finished, and she'd go back and grab some more comino or more oregano, and I had to add it back in again. So, all right, so that's garlic powder. Now we're gonna take some black pepper, and this calls for 4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're gonna do 3/4 teaspoon of powdered cloves. A lot of these Mexican dishes, I always like a little bit of clove in there. So, I'll put 3/4 of a teaspoon of clove. So we've got 5 teaspoons of comino, 5 teaspoons of oregano, 3½ teaspoons of garlic powder, 4 teaspoons of black pepper, 8 teaspoons of salt, and 3/4 a teaspoon of powdered cloves. And then we're just gonna, let me get a spoon here. Mix this up. You notice it, it doesn't look like a whole lot. It looks like maybe close to a cup of spices here. And you're gonna end up with 12 pounds of meat. So I'll show you later when you put it in. You don't wanna just dump it. You wanna incrementally sprinkle it in so all the meat, all the spices are distributed. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna do for today. Tomorrow I'll get my meat and we will complete this. Okay, here we are. We're gonna finally put it together. Went to the meat market. I called them up. I asked for 8 pounds of pork shoulder roast and 4 pounds of beef chuck roast. And if they would round it up chorizo coarseness, which they should, all butchers should be familiar with that. At least in Texas they should. Anyway, this is how it comes. Isn't that like beautiful? Come on, flip, here's the dog down. Okay. There, you can see the meat. So, what I'm gonna do is it calls for 8 cups of the gold stuff right here. And I'm gonna start slowly. I'll take about 2 at a time. And I'll take my spices. Remember the ones we did yesterday, and sprinkle it all around. It also calls for 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. When my mother did it, she got vinegar from Mexico, but I was never quite able to figure out where to find that, what that was. So this will do here. So I'll just pour a little at a time. And then I'm just gonna slow it and make sure you wear gloves, apron, because this stuff, it can stain, so. And then just start slowly mixing that in there. You don't wanna pulverize it. You're sort of like folding in, the method folding in. You wanna make sure that red stuff gets really integrated with the meat so that when you're finally finished, all the meat will be the same color. Sometimes you miss a pocket here and there, but you just try to do the best that you can. So just work it in, work it in. That was 2 cups. I start off with 6 cups of that stuff and see how it looks. If it looks pretty red, then I'll stop there. If not, I think the most I've used was 8 cups. So, here we go. Look at that, see? Sometimes I have to change gloves in the middle of doing this. Look at that, it's already on my arm. Okay, so let's put about 2 more cups in. There we go. And sprinkle some more of your spices. more of your vinegar, which is 1.5 cups total. And just work it in. Dripping in the background. It's because my sink faucet is dripping and I need to get it replaced. And I can't turn it off now because I've got all this in my gloves. Anyway, smells good. And then just keep mixing it and mixing it. Oh, goodness me. Okay. I'm gonna have my husband come turn off the video right now because I think you get the point, and I'll turn it back on in a minute. Remember, don't pulverize, just a gentle fold. Go ahead and stop. Okay, I finally did it. You know, once you get everything in there, spend about 5 minutes, just slowly like you're kneading bread, very gently. You'll see little pockets in there, try to get all in there, but this is what it looks like. Beautiful. And then tomorrow I'll freeze these. And what I do is I remember when it used to be in this little casing, you would add 2 eggs per casing. So that comes out, one sausage casing would eat about 1/2 cup. So I put 1/2 cup in here. This is what you would add 2 eggs to. So when I freeze it, I'm gonna put 4 of these, 2 cups total, in a freezer bag. And so that way when you make it, if you're cooking it all at once, you'd add 8 eggs. If you wanna do half, just do 4. If you don't have a 1/2 cup and you wanna do a measure, it comes out to about 5.5 ounces per 1/2 cup. That's 2 eggs per 1/2 cup or 5.5 ounces. Anyway, we'll have this for breakfast tomorrow and try it out, and I will see you then. Okay, so it's time to make. I put a little bit of extra virgin oil. You can put canola oil. Not to fill the bottom of the pan from sticking. I don't have any of the self-stick stuff, but just a little bit. Don't worry about all the oil. Keeps it from sticking, and I end up draining it later on. So I'm going to guesstimate in my head. Put a little bit of chorizo. That looks like about 1/2 cup. Into the melon here. There we go. Turn it down low a little bit. So, it's about 1 cup right here. I'm going to do 4 eggs with this. Just chomp it on up. Oh, it smells so good when it's cooking. I just got up. I'm not still in my pajamas here. Put here a little bit of sizzle like this. There we go. We're gonna let that cook for probably a low heat for 20 minutes. We want to make sure the meat's cooked here. Probably like a medium heat, medium low. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over there and crack my eggs. I'm gonna go crack 4 eggs in a bowl, and I'll add in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm ready. My husband says I always start these things by saying okay. Here goes the eggs that I mixed up in a bowl. I'm gonna turn the heat on high first. I go back and forth, high, low, high, low. I want to get these eggs going. I'll have it on high right now. When you're cooking this, try to get a wide enough pan because you don't want all the eggs just clumped deep. You want it all spread out evenly over the chorizo if you can. And then I don't have a pan that doesn't stick. So I constantly do this on the side. said it smells delicious? All right. That's the stamp of approval right there. You know, if you're more of an eggy person, you can add more eggs than what I said. It doesn't hurt. You'll stretch it out, especially if you have company or something. Still good. If you're more of a meat type, I'm gonna turn it down low for a minute. Let it sit. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so we're coming toward the end here. Eggs look like they're cooked. And now I'm gonna take it and just scrape it over here on the plate, paper towels. Okay. Turn off the fire. This is what it looks like, and then I'm gonna put it on some tortillas. Find some fresh homemade tortillas. So move this over. Okay, I warmed up my tortilla. I'm gonna put a little bit of chorizo in there. There we go. Sprinkle a little salt. My hubby likes to put the chulo sauce on there, Cholula sauce. I just like it is. Then roll it up. And when I was a little girl, this is how I used to eat it. I used to eat it with just on a plate, get a tortilla and just tear a piece of tortilla and just eat it like that. You probably end up eating more than one tortilla and do that. And muy delicioso. Well, I hope my family enjoys this. Elena's grandchildren. I hope they pass this down to their children. And thank you, Abuelita. Thank you, Mama. And have a good day. You don't want me to count them? No, we gotta get this down on paper officially. Kids think that's so neat looking at the meatball. Oh, you did it? Put the oregano in the blender and crush it until it's real fine. So which one is the skin? Top to bottom or bottom? Okay. And you beat the...
Good, Mary.
She's mixing, I'm taking notes too, she's mixing the
He's a lot meatier than Eric.
cascabel sauce with the meat.
Yep.
2 cups. Is it oregano? Camino, okay. 2. 3.
Hey, what's the water?
And 4 teaspoons of camino. 4. So you use 4, 2, 3, 3 teaspoons. 1. What's that? Cup.
Keep it up with me. He doesn't like me around. I guess he's watching to be sure I'm safe. A safe distance.
He doesn't have too many.
A half teaspoon of what? Cloves?
Powdered
Powdered cloves. Half teaspoon powdered.
One of those, it can get, real fat if you don't push it up and it breaks. those curves right there. And if you don't push it through,
Show us an example.
when I wait till I start over there.
Oh, okay. Better.
That's what you do. Take pictures all the time.